Hi, everyone. Welcome to your weekly On Purpose Connection special edition. This month, we've been highlighting some pretty inspiring women. Well, I think so, and I think you'll think so too, that have been driving change and inspiring just women around the world in their business in such a purposeful and meaningful way. And today we have a very special guest coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, none other than my friend, Heather Burgett. So lovely to have you here, Heather. How are you?
I'm great. It's great to be here. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all.
Yes. Oh, so lovely to have you. So just a little bit about Heather. And if you are joining us live, let us know that you're here, where you are joining us from, and go ahead and drop your comments or questions underneath the video here in Facebook. And my lovely Misha will make sure to bring your comments or questions here live with me and Heather so that we can engage with you. So do continue to engage with us here live in the Facebook video. So Heather Burgett is the CEO and founder of the Burgett Group. She's an award-winning publicist, a visibility business coach, and host of the Shine Strategy podcast. In the past 20 plus years, she has represented Grammy and Oscar winners, authors, billionaires, celebrities, philanthropists, rock stars, and top brands. Through her PR Stars online programs, Heather helps consultants and creatives shine online, get visible, grow a global audience, and impact the world with their messages. She is a recipient of the prestigious Prism Award from the PR Society of America and a member of the Forbes Business Council. Wow, wow, wow. Such a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for fitting us into your schedule.
I so appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
So lovely to have you here. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I'd love to just kick it off. Like, as you know, we've been friends for a little over a year now, and we've been tracking each other in our business. And you were there with me right during lockdown when I started this Facebook group about On Purpose. And I'd love, before we talk more about you and your business, like, what does On Purpose mean to you?
That's a great question. Yeah, so being someone who works with purpose-driven small business owners, consultants, creatives, entrepreneurs, it's truly, I think, about being tapped into why you're here, right? When you're on purpose, it's where you're lit up and connected to the reason why you incarnated here at this time in this world, and to bring the gifts that you actually have that only you can bring into the world in the way that you can, right? Like, to be able to just deeply connect to that passion, that mission, whatever it is, and it doesn't always have to be a business, right? Like, you just might be a kick-ass mom, and,
yes.
That doesn't, you can be on purpose as a mom. You don't have to be an entrepreneur or business owner to be on purpose. So I think it's truly just living from your heart, being connected to the passions, the things that light you up in your life. And when you're in that flow and on purpose, everything seems to come in and with more ease and grace and just, happen a little bit easier. So that's, I would say that's, to me, what being on purpose is. And knowing, actually, since the pandemic, being pulled even deeper into my own purpose, that it's a beautiful place to be.
So much yumminess. I love it. I love it. Talking about spirituality and on purpose doesn't mean, your job title or what you do for work. It's who you are as a person and how you live and be in this world. Love it, love it, love it. So yeah, just let's go there. Like, tell us more about you and how you got into public relations and how what you are doing right now and how that has been affected by last year and this time of great change.
Yeah, I often say I fell into PR when I first got started many, many years ago. I've been doing this over 2 decades. And I had a passion for speaking Spanish and had lived in...
Hola, ¿qué tal?
I lived in the Dominican Republic. I lived in Spain, and I majored in Spanish with a poli-sci minor with a focus on international relations. And I totally thought I was going to be working for like, I don't know, the United Nations or something international using my language skills. I ended up applying for an internship or submitting myself at a high-tech PR firm in Cambridge, Massachusetts. That was an international PR firm. And I thought, oh, maybe they have an office in South America or something. They had a London office. So I wasn't going to be able to use my Spanish, but I did get hired on full time there and started working with them on the launch of America Online as a consumer brand. So I got pulled in like, basically baptism by fire into the PR world. And that was an incredible experience to go through. And then I moved to the Ritz-Carlton Boston and did some hospitality PR. And then as a movie lover, I also wanting to maybe have a little more sunshine in my life, I felt the calling to the West Coast, hopped a plane to Los Angeles to do movie publicity, and came out here, over 2 decades ago to do that. And my first big movie project, or one of the first big feature films I worked on, was the Blair Witch Project, which became a worldwide phenomenon and is still to this date one of the most profitable movies ever made. So within a couple of years, I had launched my own PR firm, and I've continued to do that for many, 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 many years. I'm like really dating myself here. And then it was about 3 to 4 years ago where I started teaching what I know. So it was, kind of a sad thing that happened was my grandmother died, my last grandparent, who was like a best friend. And I was pretty heartbroken at the time. And I just felt like, am I really being of service in the world, to make my grandmother proud? She always, was my biggest cheerleader. So I went on this soul searching trip to Bali and, really wanted to heal my heart and also figure out like, what am I supposed to be doing in this world? Because for a PR agency, a lot of time that's really for a small select group of people that have those gigantic budgets to spend on PR. But I wanted to help more people because there's so many consultants and creatives, entrepreneurs out there that have incredible messages and movements and products and services. And I was like, they deserve to be able to know how to do this stuff as well. And it shouldn't be limited to just a select few that can have, those bigger budgets. So that's when I launched when I came back from Bali, I was like, I'm going to start teaching what I know to more people. And I started my PR Stars online programs. And so that's, about 3 to 4 years in now. And I love it. I love seeing the wins that my community is having, the aha moments, when people realize like, oh, I can actually get this and do this for myself, the visibility piece, the publicity. And it's been a really fun journey. The pandemic did pull me in deeper because I was kind of dipping my toe into the coaching, and we were kind of there at the same moment going, oh, what's happening? And really deciding at a time when a lot of the world was contracting, I was like, I'm going to go into expansion. I know you did the same thing. And I was like, I'm going to hold a free event. I'm going to launch a program for the women and the community that I know that like really are struggling right now and can use my help with the skills and wisdom I have from all these years of doing it. And it's been wonderful. So, yeah.
Well, I love your story, how you actually traveled the world in kind of like an eat, pray, love moment. You're like in Bali, and then it brought you back here. And then of course, just sending you so much love for your grandma, and how that, I think we have kind of like a similar story, like the passing of our loved one, although I'm sure you believe as well that they're always with us and they never leave. They're just in a different form. That also inspired me on my path, if you will, and wanting to see how can I serve more people in using my gifts. So it's such a beautiful story. And I kind of know what public relations is, but just for people that maybe are not too familiar with it, or they just know the term, and maybe people think that it's more for those companies that have those bigger budgets, they have to hire a PR agency, or can you just tell us a little bit more about what is public relationships and how does it work?
Yeah, I would say, that is old paradigm. PR is what we think of as a lot of the association is with traditional media, getting on TV shows or in newspapers or magazines, radio. Traditional media is a part of it. But the bigger picture is that it's truly about your messaging, your positioning, your image, your reputation. And the PR is the through line through your entire business, like when you create a business plan, you'll see there is a section for marketing and for public relations. So it is a very integral part of any business. It has kind of morphed in the past few years now to this field of digital PR. So when I'm talking about PR, I'm also including all of the online components. So online marketing, digital marketing, social media, any of those areas that fall under, how you are putting yourself out there into the world. So, the difference that in the way that I teach it is that I also have a background in the healing arts. So I bring that alignment to the table first before we do the steps or the implementation. So typically that's the challenge. Most people just don't know what is it? How do I get it? And so that's where I'm really trying to pull the veil back here and help people understand that they can have it now and how important it is.
And that's what I love about what you do and how you work with your clients and your programs and how you work in the world. And the whole relationship with PR is that you really do merge, spirituality, and how when you're spiritually aligned with yourself and your message and your energy, and how that plays a bigger part in, how you show up in the world in your work and the people you attract. So can you tell us a little bit more about, so for people that are kind of new to that idea, like how does spirituality have anything to do with with PR and publicity?
Yeah, well, what I will say is that when we're talking about first focusing on the alignment piece of, being connected to your why, who you are, what you're doing in the world, there's like mindset, there's spiritual alignment. That is really the number one most important thing for anything in your life. And what I realized when I was doing my PR agency for so many years, and that I had worked in the healing arts, and I had started using these universal spiritual principles in my work just because it was baked into who I was. That's why I realized that's one of the reasons I'm getting such kick-ass results for my clients, because I'm starting from that place. And so when I turned around and said, okay, now I'm going to teach people how to do this for themselves, I had to look at my process and how I got the results and bottle that up. So the first step that I do teach is the alignment piece. And so really it's the thing that we do for anything in our life, like setting our intention, making sure our energy and our frequency that we're holding is clear, right? Like what is your vibration you're carrying with you? Do you believe that you can have those results that you're saying that you want? Are you in alignment on all levels, mind, body, spirit, with having those results? So starting from that place is paramount.
So good. I love it, love it, love it. It's all about, how can you shift even that old paradigm of like how you're acting or working in this world, and shift that, because no matter how much money you can throw at PR, it's like if you're not in alignment with like who you are and who you're meant to serve, and be in that higher vibration, it's like you won't be attracting that, who you're meant to serve and what you're meant to be and you're becoming in this world. So I love all of that. I love it. So speaking about that and how you naturally, with your background in the healing arts, and then you saw that you were in PR and that you were attracting these incredible clients just because you were spiritually in alignment and your energy and your intention. What do you think is one of the biggest mistakes that business owners and creatives do make when it comes to their visibility and online presence today?
Yeah, I mean, there are a few, but I will say that one of the biggest ones that I see is the kind of the fears that come up and the limiting beliefs around it's not time, I'm not ready, I'm not really an expert, this is for later. And that's where I've really been trying to help people understand that this is something that starts yesterday, and that PR is the thing that gets you to the goals where you want to go. It's not vice versa. You don't wait till you get there and then do PR. The people that are where they want to be and becoming household names, they have a PR strategy, and that's how they got there most of the time. Lightning does strike, and sometimes you have people that just, like they don't even have a publicist or a public relations campaign, and they still catch like wildfire. So I'm not saying it's the only way, but it is definitely going to increase and enhance your chances, because all we're doing in publicity is focusing on packaging and presenting you to the world in an aligned way that feels good, that speaks directly to the people you want to be reaching. And then we put you out there through your writing, your speaking, and the media, right? Those are the only three ways that you can really put yourself out there into the world. Of course, under those three, there are a myriad of ways for each one. So for each person, it's customizing, like, what are their strengths, what lights them up the most, and not ever, creating a plan that doesn't feel good. Like, it's got to light you up.
Yeah.
So that's where, again, the alignment comes from, is working with each person on where do they want to be appearing? Who do they want to be talking to? What do they want to be talking about? And when you're in that lit up place on purpose, right? Like, that's when you become magnetic.
Yes, magnetic. I love it. I love it. So yeah, just speaking on that, what is one just free PR tool that you can help the people that are watching either here live or on the replay, just to start getting some results today? People that are maybe new to having an online presence and this whole idea of publicity for themselves.
Yeah, I call, there's a service called HARO, which some of you may have heard of before, HARO. It stands for Help a Reporter Out. And the website is free. It's helpreporter.com. And I have no affiliation with them other than that I have used this platform for probably since it started many years ago to get results for my clients. And now my community uses it to get results all the time. So I think I just saw someone that was posting something, a win this morning in the group. So we, curate in my Facebook group. We help people curate those opportunities that come in on a daily basis. All you have to do is go to helpreporter.com and you can sign up either. Well, if you are a journalist or have a media publication, you can sign up as a journalist. But most people are signing up as a source. So you're an expert. And these are real media people out there in the world that are looking for you to ask, you to be part of their articles and answer questions, to be interviewed. And every day you're going to get a ton of queries in your inbox. And when you see one that resonates with you, that you feel like, oh, I could really speak to that, you reply and you submit yourself for that. So, and I do have a free pitch template around that too, that I can also offer, which is at Your Best Pitch Pro. Yourbestpitch.pro. And that will kind of start getting people going on how to use HARO, what the pitch actually look like, right? And how to maximize the results, showing examples that I've done to get results for my clients, in particular one who we got her into the LA Times for a self-published book, which is pretty incredible because you're going up against a lot of big publishers. But when you know your messaging and you can, know how to approach the press and respond to what they need, like, you're really upping your chances of landing the actual results.
I love that. Yeah. And Misha can put those links in underneath this video. You said it was helpareporter.com. And the other one that you mentioned?
It's yourbestpitch.pro.
Yourbestpitch.pro. Yes, and I can speak to that as well. And I came across HARO, I'm not sure how it was, years ago, and I used it a few times as well. And I think it's great. And what happens is that if and when you do, you are featured or you make a relationship with a journalist, you can always reach out to them and keep that and nurture that relationship. I know I've done that, and I was able to get featured in another article simply because I kept that connection with that particular person in that particular media and industry. So I love that hot tip. Thank you so much for sharing. And I also wanted to talk about your podcast, The Shine Strategy, and tell us more about that, because I've some of the guests you've had, and you can speak to it. One of them being Marianne Williamson. I was just like, when I was listening to it. So tell us some more about your podcast, The Shine Strategy.
Yeah, that was where I really decided that I needed to find a way to show what I do and how unique it is. So that's really bringing the shine is that spiritual side. And then the strategy being the actual kind of like earthly, grounded steps, and how when you bring those two things together, you really can create optimal success. So I had guests come on the show that really had done this. They had used, their platforms for good. They had managed to become very well known and, get a lot of, people following them in terms of a global audience. So celebrities, visionaries, entrepreneurs, and Marianne Williamson is an author idol of mine. And at the time she was actually running for president. And so it was such a coup to get her. And really like just being able to talk to these people about their messages, giving them each a platform to support, they all have very heart-centered, purposeful messages from Nick Vallelonga, who had just won 3 Oscars. His movie Green Book had just won 3 Oscars, and all about breaking the racial divide. And we were talking about that, this was like when he was on, maybe like a year even before this whole, BLM movement blew up. And now going back and like listening to these conversations, I'm just like, I'm so proud of the fact that we had that, put that content out there into the world.
So good. And yeah, so Misha's going to drop that comment as well. If you want to go ahead and click on that and subscribe to Heather's Shine Strategy podcast. There's some really, really great guests on there. And I love the conversations on there. And there's one in particular that you shared about, was it your grandparent, right? There was a podcast on that one. That was really heartfelt.
I did a couple solo episodes. So I think, maybe the intro is the one you're thinking of. I did one around when my father passed and losing my father, and the whole idea of core wounds and how those impact us in our lives. And then, again, about the strategy of how to elevate your online presence. So there's some good content, juicy content over there. So yes, please listen. It's also, if you just want to, it's on all platforms for podcasting, but I'm getting my YouTube channel going finally. So there's a playlist with the podcast episodes over there as well.
Amazing. Yeah, definitely. If you aren't already, go and subscribe to Heather's podcast. And how else can people find out more about you and your work? I know we talked about the podcast, but let us know how else can they find out more about you and what you're doing?
They can always head over to prstars.net, which is the website where you can see, what I'm doing in terms of programs. All my social links are over there. For Instagram and Clubhouse, I'm at heather.burgett. Those are probably the 2 main places that I'm hanging out the most these days, other than my Facebook group, which is the Shine Strategy Insiders. And everyone's welcome. That's a free community on Facebook. You're welcome to join us over there as well. So yeah, feel free to connect with me, on, any of those platforms. And I'd love to hear what people are up to.
Amazing. Yeah. And we'll drop the links to your Facebook group. I know that you do some incredible multi-day events there. Heather's just amazing at what she does. And so definitely want to click the link and connect with Heather and what she's doing there. And you also have a quiz, right? Tell us more about that.
I do. And that's basically to find out your visibility style and strength. So I have 4 superheroine archetypes, and you can find out which one is your super strength and, in terms of being visible, and then how to leverage that to grow your audience.
I love it. And where can viewers get access to this quiz?
The quiz, you can go to shinesuperpower.com.
Beautiful. So Misha will drop that in the comments as well. And the quiz is amazing. I really recommend you guys take it. It's so on point. And I think it totally, we're talking about how to shine online and monetize your gifts. And you need to know, kind of like who you are, like what are your gifts? And so one of those ways is taking Heather's gift. So definitely encourage you to just click on that link. I think it takes only like a few minutes or so.
Like a minute or 2.
Yeah, and the results is just like, it's like, wow, yeah, that's me. She's talking to me. So I love that you were able to put that out in the world. And then from that space, people can really start to draw out like, okay, so this is who I am. It resonates. And yeah, what are my gifts? And how can I show up with them more in the world? Well, thank you so much, Heather, for being here. And I just had a few more questions just because we are in the spirit of Women's History Month and International Women's Day past. I just would love to invite you to share with us just one woman who has inspired you to be the woman you are today.
Oh gosh, so many. It's a hard question to always like pinpoint one person. I'm just gonna give a shout out to my mom because she just turned 75. We just had a Zoom birthday party for her, and she's just always been such a wonderful supporter of me, and whatever I say I want to do, she's never questioned it, right? She's like, she just believes in me so much. She's like, you always come out on top. So it's just having that kind of a cheerleader has really meant the world to me. So we also did a special, some people might see this on some of my platforms. We had a cameo. Kenny G made a cameo at her online birthday.
I saw that, Kenny G. I was like, where's he been? He's on Cameo. You can find him there.
Yeah, and
amazing.
he did a lovely little like birthday
sweet.
message and played his sax. And that was just a joy to see her, you know, be so touched by that. And yeah, so I'm going to just give the shout out to my mom.
Oh, how sweet.
For that, yeah.
What's your mom's name?
Lenore. She's
shout out to Lenore.
She goes by Lenny, and she's
Lenny.
An artist, and she loves golf and gardening. But you know, Kenny G was like, I heard you like golf and gardening, but here's the other G.
I saw that. Very, very touche. I like it. It was good. Very good. Oh, so sweet. Beautiful, beautiful. And last question, last but not least, what advice would you give to your younger self now that you've had all these life experiences?
Gosh, yeah, that's always such a great question. Yeah, I think it's probably speaking to maybe in the 20s kind of version of myself, that I would just say something along the lines of, you know, you don't have to prove anything to anyone, right? You've got this, everything's going to work out. You know, I almost worked myself into an early grave in my 20s. I was working a little bit too hard. I still work a lot. I'm still guilty of that, but I have found more balance in my life. And I think, you know, I would just go back and tell myself to just take it a little slower, have a little more balance in the, you know, health department of not, you know, trying to burn myself out or work so hard, and just to relax and enjoy the ride a little bit more.
I love that. Yeah, and I can resonate with that in my 20s as well. So I love that advice. I would tell myself that as well. Thank you so much. Balance, relax, enjoy the ride. Love it, love it. I see we had Laura joining us. She said spending time in Bali made a big impact on her life as well. Oh, well, thank you for sharing that, Laura. And yes, so any of you that are watching us live or the replay, definitely click those links, connect with Heather in her Facebook group, or take the quiz, or subscribe to her podcast. She's really got some incredible wisdom, as you can already feel, that's being transmitted here through the screen. And she's just a real joy. And it's just been such a pleasure to have you here in my Facebook group. So thank you so much for joining us from London, Los Angeles morning. I was going to say morning time over there. And really such a pleasure. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you so much. I love what you're doing. I love your community, and I'm happy to come back anytime, and you're all welcome to come join me over in my community. And, we do curate those hair opportunities. We help, people monitor those, because that's a lot of times where people get stuck, is like, I don't have time to monitor. So, that's a little helpful thing that we do for you over there as well. So I look forward to connecting to any and all of you, and I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful day.
Thank you, Heather. Have a lovely rest of your day. Bye, Heather.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Heather's really such a delight, so much wisdom. So definitely you want to connect with her over in her Facebook group, listen to her podcast, and that quiz is just really, really something really special. And so that concludes our edition. Well, this month of March, as we were celebrating, in celebration of Women's History Month and International Women's Day, where every week we were highlighting inspiring, powerful women that are inspiring change and driving culture. So I hope you enjoyed this month as much as I did. And the intention is that every month I would love to bring on one of you, our collective members, here on live with me on Thursdays, so that we can hear what you're doing in the world. How are you living? How are you working on purpose? And just as Heather had mentioned, it doesn't have to be your work. It could just be how you be, how you are in this world, how you show up. So if you are feeling called and you would love to come on with me live here and share in our On Purpose Collective what you're doing in the world, then we would love to have you. So go ahead and you can either drop a comment underneath this Facebook video, or send me a private message, and we can discuss deeper about if that's of interest and a fit for you, and we can schedule time to get you on here. because really this community is about each and every one of you and how we can continue to connect and uplift and inspire each other during this time of great change. And I just wanted to just shout out and brag that we have reached 600 members in our On Purpose Collective. Yes, yes, yes. Just today we hit 600 members. So super excited, but also just really grateful and honored that you have me in your feed, that I've been a part of your life during this time. As you know, that this Facebook group was born in lockdown. It was my intention to try to continue to connect with my community and my clients past my virtual events. And I stretched myself and went outside my comfort zone. And as Heather mentioned, when the most of the world was contracting last year, that I made a commitment and said yes to staying in my expansion. And so here we are, nearly pretty much a year later, almost coming up on the year anniversary, and we are 600 strong, beautiful souls here in the On Purpose Collective. So I know that this group and the energy and what we have brought each other and what you have brought me during this time has really meant a lot for me, because I feel like me being able to give this to you has given so much to me as well, because it makes me feel more on purpose with the work that I'm doing and how I'm showing up in the world through the chaos and through the change. And when the world felt like it was turning upside down, that we still had that connection. So thank you so much to each and every one of you for being here, whether you have joined me for a weekly purpose breakthrough or you came on one of my multi-day events or trainings. It's just really been a pleasure. So if you have any ideas about or topics that you would love me to discuss on our weekly live trainings, go ahead and drop that as a comment underneath this video, or again, send me a private message. And I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you, because this is our collective, this is our community. And I hope you do feel that now more than ever. Okay, everyone, I am off. So lovely to have you here live with me. Let's see who else is here. Eva's here. Hello. Hello, Michelle. So lovely to have you here live. And do let us know underneath the comment section of this video, what was your biggest takeaway? Or let us know, what was your archetype in Heather's quiz? It's really, really great quiz. And yes, just so really excited and honored to be able to share with you some of the women that have been very inspiring and influential in my life, because that's really what it's about, that a rising tide lifts all boats. And this is really about, we're shifting into a new paradigm where it's not about me, it's about we, and it's about how can we collaborate, how can we share, and how can we come together. And that's what the On Purpose Collective is all about. Oh, so good. Okay, everyone, until next time, much love and many blessings. Bye, everyone.